Hello and welcome to another episode of IDS Podcast, and I'm here with Rob Marchese from Zippboxx. What's going on, Rob? Thanks for coming on.
Nothing much, man. Thanks for having me.
So I'm glad we finally got this done. We've been talking about it for a year plus now, since season one. So it took a little while, but we're here. We're in your location, which is beautiful. So why don't you give us, I guess, the quick. We're going to talk a little more in depth about what you do and how you got into this, but just a quick 30-second elevator pitch on what Zippboxx is.
Sure, absolutely. So Zippboxx, we are a moving and storage company with that specializes in designer logistics. So we are your receiving warehouse, right? So as designers are ordering, furniture, accessories from various manufacturers, they never want that stuff to go directly to the customer's house. So we receive everything here at our warehouse. Once we receive everything, we open it all up, inspect it, keep track of everything for that particular project or multiple projects, and then store it, and then deliver it, and ultimately install it into the home for the designer.
Oh, cool. So let's take a step back and go back to the beginning. And sure. I saw this, it must have been somewhere you posted a couple of weeks ago or months ago, where one day you decided to quit your job and start this. So let's talk about how you got into this and your background and how Zippboxx, what are Zippboxx's origins?
So the original concept was on-demand storage. So if you imagine you live in New York City, you have a tiny apartment, where do you store your holiday decorations in the off-season, right? So bicycles in the winter, snowboards in the summer, that kind of stuff. Was it Father's Day of 2016? Had a conversation with my now business partner about Zippboxx. An original conversation started out like, imagine storing Christmas trees for people who live in New York City. Like, where the hell do you store a fake Christmas tree in a tiny apartment? So we came up with this concept of so from that very conversation, I walked inside, I sat down on a couch, and I started Googling some stuff, and I couldn't really find anything like it. And something hit me unlike any idea has ever hit me before. Right. And from that first conversation to this very moment right now, I have not stopped for 1 second bringing this business or idea to basically to evolution. We evolved.
You were in a completely different industry before.
It was, it took me a little while to realize I was actually in the moving industry. Here we are, a on-demand storage company. From that conversation, 6 months later, I quit my job. I was a bricklayer. Okay. I worked in the masonry field. Also went to school for social work, and that was going to be my path, was become a social worker. And but working in construction at the time, and frankly, miserable, digging ditches in people's backyards, and just had this idea. Within 6 months, I quit my job, rented a 15,000 square foot warehouse, bought 3 Mercedes Sprinters, and then said, now what do I do? Didn't have a single customer, didn't know how to get customers, didn't know about marketing, didn't know much. I didn't know I was in the moving business, honestly. Yeah. First audience that I went after was college students. College was just about to let out. I went to every college on Long Island, New York City, and got them to let me set up tables and walk around campus and pass out flyers. So as school was ending in May, Mother's Day of 2017, I got my first client. Okay. So still remember the first ding that came through my app.
And that's to store college kids'
stuff while they leave for the summer. Oh, exactly. So we would go to the dorm, pack up their stuff, bring it to our location. So what was cool about our service was that we have an app that allows everybody to have a photographed inventory of anything that they had in storage with us. And then we had these beautiful plastic bins with attached lids on them, and that was our mode of sort of transportation for these items. So we would deliver bins to clients. They would pack their stuff. The bin would have a barcode on it. Mm-hmm. Anything that was in our facility was in a barcoded location. So a client would go into their app, push a button, deliver this to me. We'd get that request, and we would deliver it back to them within 24 hours, some cases same day. Mm-hmm. And then that's how we started.
Cool. Yeah. So you're approaching 10 years, I'm assuming, working with interior designers wasn't something you didn't even think of from the beginning. Obviously college kids, you said, and Christmas trees. So what was the evolution of interior designers? Because now you have carved yourself like a nice little niche here, especially here on the island, working with interior designers. So where did that whole thing come about?
It evolved. So within about a year of doing the on-demand storage and coming to the conclusion that I am a moving company, I started doing, I went and got licensed, got a mover's license, and started doing moving people from one place to another. And then there was one lead that we got was moving a sofa from New York City to the Hamptons. And a woman lived over on Polo Court, right off the polo grounds of the Hamptons. We got the job. It was like a $600-700 move. It was like nothing crazy. And then her next door neighbor happened to be the wife of one of the biggest builders in the Hamptons, and seen our vehicle and loved the branding. Thought that we looked cool. Called us. Did some moves for her. Then she introduced me to an interior designer that worked for them. And then, hey, could you receive furniture for us? And then from there, just referred to another, and we learned what designers love. Always been customer service oriented, right from the beginning. I just always wanted to create an amazing customer experience. That's the most important thing to me above all. So based on that, just word of mouth and referral, and we fell into the niche, honestly.
Yeah, you call it on your website designer consolidation, I think. Yep. So can you define that term and talk a little bit about your services?
Yeah, absolutely. So, how we work is, we're a partner with you in managing your projects, right? You're a designer is working with the client, sourcing all the different materials and furnishings and whatnot. Then they got to get that shipped somewhere. Right. You can't have tractor trailers pulling up to clients' homes. You can't. You don't want the tractor trailer driver being the one to go into your client's home. So a lot of people don't want the client to see pieces before the entire project comes together. Yeah. Right. Because they may not have the same vision that the designer has. So we become your partner in the whole process. Right. So everything gets shipped to us. Have people manning the warehouse all day, every day, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And once we receive items, we first thing we do is we create spreadsheets based on any particular project. So working one particular designer, they have a project. Usually the project, the last name of their client or something is usually the project name. And then as we receive pieces, we open everything up. We thoroughly inspect it. We photograph each piece in a photo app that we have. So we are looking for damage, imperfections, manufacturer defects, etc. We share that spreadsheet with the client, so they're aware, and we share teach them how to set a notification on the spreadsheet that every time we update it, they get an update that we received this piece, right? And then they also have a link to the photo app. So anytime that we enter a new photo into that app, they're able to see that in real time. If any damage was found, we notify the designer immediately and then follow their lead on how they would like to rectify that damage. We work with a gentleman who's a master craftsman, stops here and is here on a regular basis and helps us repair items if that's what they want. Or if they want it returned, we'll facilitate the entire return. Then we store the items. We wait until a lot of designers like to wait till everything comes in. But for those that would like just one-off deliveries, we accommodate that as well. And then we work very closely on the day of installation with the designer, putting everything in place, assembling all the furniture, literally white glove delivery. Booties, white gloves on, amazing crew of guys who know exactly how to work with designers, very patient. Move a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left.
Yeah. Well, you talk about that on your website, the white glove service.
Absolutely.
So what does that mean besides being just hands-on?
It's, we handle everything from start to finish. We're going to remove all the garbage. Nothing will ever be left behind. We literally wear white gloves as to not get fingerprints or anything on any of the furniture. Oftentimes you're dealing with white furniture and you don't want to touch that with your bare hands.
Cool. So, and you just literally can store the products here for days, weeks, months.
Days, weeks, months, years, whatever it takes.
So how does Let's talk about day of install, because that's a hectic day for everyone. What's the process like day of install? You're storing a designer's products here for, let's say, a month and a half or 2 months, and they call you and like, all right, this living room's ready. Let's get it in on this and this day. What's that process?
So it obviously depends on the project, but that process would be typically like to start our moves in between 8 and 9 a.m. So we plan accordingly, unless our client needs to a different accommodation. Send a skilled team there to offload everything off the truck, unpackage it. I like to put everything back into its original packaging. So we will bring everything still boxed and whatnot to the and unbox it in the truck, and then place it inside the home, and again work with the designer for just the perfect placement of where they would like those items to go.
So what's that coordination like with the designer that day? Is it more so?
Usually they're just
the designer's on site. Usually,
99.9% of the time the designer's on site. Very rarely do they have us deliver just with the client home, but that would be more of your one-off deliveries. Hey, you just need to drop a chair off, and they let us know where to put it or something like that. We could do FaceTime or something with the designer, on those types of occasions. But 90% of the time, they don't want you dealing with the client directly. They want to be there, make sure everything is good. And so.
You must have some funny or crazy stories on some installs. I don't know if you can share them, but I'm just thinking of some of the products you must deliver.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely some insanely expensive items. We take on a lot of risk. Once we receive an item and we give the okay that item has been checked out and that we inspected it and there's no damage, and there's damage found after that point,
that's on you.
That's most of the time is going to be on me. And so I take that very, very serious. It hurts to take a hit on a $10,000 piece of furniture or even $1,000 piece of furniture.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all in business to make money. Who wants to give away money for no reason? But so that's what makes it so important that our processes are dialed in from the start. And not only that, it's more importantly than the money, I don't want to look bad to my clients, right? I want to say that we inspected something, everything was good, and then, it's then something was found, especially if we didn't cause the damage.
What intrigued me was your photo cataloging system, because that's pretty cool, and I haven't heard of any. I mean, I guess this is different. Your consolidation service is different than just an actual moving service, and I've never used a consolidation type of service, but I have used moving services. So how does that process work? I guess even for storage, not necessarily for interior designers, because you even said for college kids, and I don't know if you even do that anymore, but for college kids, they have pictures of all their bins and this and that. So this is all in your own app, your own.
So I kind of abandoned the on-demand storage service concept. Honestly,
once you realized you were movers.
Because it's first when I first started, I'm like I'm trying to market to people, and at that time we were located in Hop Hog, and I'm trying to market to people in New York City about this, what is sort of perceived to be this new concept of on-demand storage. And but again, it's moving and storage with some technology added onto it.
That's also tough though, New York City, because if your warehouse is out here and someone needs a bin today or tomorrow, you're not right around the corner.
I'm embarrassed. These are not my prices anymore, but somebody would request, we were charging $25 for pickups and deliveries, and somebody would request like a bin to be delivered to Times Square at 4:00 in the afternoon on New Year's Eve, right? Literally, that's a true story. For $25, and
your tolls are more than that now.
Oh man, I want to kill myself when I think about how I first started. And the money we left on the table.
Yeah, but you can't look at that, because
no, of course.
I'm guilty of the same thing, and I look back at some of my work, and I'm like, how did I even charge what I charged then, which was pennies, and the work was absolute garbage.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you start a business and you start somewhere, and you start where you think you're worth, and then that grows, I guess.
No, that's what was my lack of knowledge of the industry. Again, not even knowing that I was a moving company. It really took me hiring somebody to do sales for me. That
that was familiar with the moving.
That he came from running a moving company for many, many years, over 20-something years, and he sat me down one day and he's like, Rob, you're a moving company. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, man, I'm not a moving company. I don't want to be a moving. He's, you're a moving company, man. You know, and opened my eyes. So what ended up happening was at first I was, promoting myself for storage, and moving became incidental to that. Then I flipped it around. I started promoting myself for moving, and then storage became incidental. And I filled a 15,000 square foot warehouse in less than a year once I made that flip, Now we're in 30,000 square feet and, and pushing the limits a little bit.
Yeah, so. And you said this building, I was telling you earlier, this building we're in, which is your building, is beautiful. We're in Bohemia here. So for anybody that's local on Long Island, I think it's worth taking a trip out here just to see it. You got to have an IDS
people are more than welcome to stop by.
You got to have an IDS meeting out here.
Say again?
You have to have an IDS meeting out here.
We're going to. No, we're going to. We're going to do, meetings are booked out for quite a while, so we're going to do more of like a little social, maybe like a wine night,
nice.
Something like that. Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about your long-term collaboration with interior designers, because one thing we were talking about before we started recording was, your designer consolidation services versus one-off moves. You like it better because you're building those long-term relationships where, if somebody's moving their residential house, it's one move, and people move 3-4 times in their life, but it's, if someone's moving in 20 years, they might not remember to call you. It's whoever's top of mind at that point. But the interior designers, it's long-term relationships. So how do you build that trust, and how do you keep that relationships? And I know, we see each other at meetings all the time, so I know it's just same thing, being top of mind and just being in front of people. But
it's I think it starts with quality. So in moving, you're moving one household to another. People are going to your website, searching on Google, send postcards to people's houses when their house goes on the market for sale or goes into contract, and you're competing against many other moving companies, and mostly on price, right? Mm-hmm. If people haven't used you yet, how do you convince them that you are better than the next guy and whatnot? So it's mostly price driven.
Yes.
And it's very hard to compete with that, especially when you're competing with what I call rogue movers, people who lowball.
Yeah, you used that term earlier.
Yeah, so rogue movers, just people who are unlicensed, uninsured. You find them on Craigslist or something like that. They're
somebody who has a van.
Renting a U-Haul, grabbing a couple of guys from Home Depot and coming and doing your move, and then tell you they'll do what I estimated to be a $5,000 move, and they're doing it for $1,500 because they're happy to make $200 for the day.
Yeah.
Can't compete with that, right? I mean, just this building alone, I couldn't compete with that.
Sure.
But you have people that see through that and whatnot, and that's how I win. Those are the clients that I win over.
Yeah.
But then you have other moving companies that just lowball estimates. I tell you, I estimate it's going to take 7 hours, and somebody else is telling you they're going to get it done in 4 hours, and just showing you the price for 4 hours. So that being said, it's an extremely competitive market, and I want to focus on quality, right? Mm-hmm. Like I want to provide people an amazing service. Once you build a relationship with the designer and they see the quality of service that we provide,
they're going to come back.
They're staying with us, yes. Right? I've yet to lose a designer that I've done business with, and I'm not competing against that many other companies. Mm-hmm. There are other companies that do what we do. I don't know that there are many companies or any that will do it at the level of that we do it, with the attention of detail that we do it.
I mean, I would think without knowing, there's probably not even many that specialize in this interior designer type of work.
There's a couple, right? And anybody that's listening here, I'm sure that they know who most of them are.
I'm not a designer, and so I don't know for sure. But like when we were originally talking last year about doing an episode, and you walked in with your Zippboxx moving and storage, I'm like, what are we going to talk about moving and storage for a half hour? Yeah. But then when you started explaining the logistics of working with designers, I was like, that's a great niche right there, because there can't be many that focus on that individual. Yeah.
I think it's a service that, anybody that's dealing, so you got a lot of the designers who are just doing construction design and whatnot, and don't deal much with furniture, so they don't have much of a need for my service, unless they're ordering construction materials, so that's another thing. You're ordering kitchen cabinets, and they're coming in, and you don't want them on the job site. they can be shipped to us and we can store them and deliver them to the site, or you could come and pick them up yourself. So we can customize our service to meet anybody's needs when it comes to any kind of logistics, warehousing, etc. This is the side of my business that I'm growing the most, and that is becoming my primary focus. Yeah. I want to take over the market of interior design logistics and become the premier name and the go-to for any designer.
Cool. So I would love to hear about, if you're willing to share, some of the logistical challenges sometimes you face on jobs. And this is, I guess, a little sales pitchy for the designers, but everyone in every industry faces some challenges, and how do you overcome those? What are some of those obstacles that you have to deal with most often?
Just like any business, things comes in ebbs and flows. So you have these peaks and valleys. So, there could be a day that we can receive 100 boxes of furniture from various designers or projects, or sometimes for one designer. You have 24 hours to 48 hours to inspect all of that and find damage to report it, because most manufacturers won't take something back after 48 hours. So
do you have designers come here also sometimes to inspect, or not so often?
Not so often, honestly. Most of them just trust the fact that we're going to. So we could certainly set up a staging area for designers to want to come and look at items and make sure it's the correct item. A lot of that gets handled with photos, though, right? So that's one of the reasons that I love to take photos of everything that we open up and inspect. We just saved a designer just a couple of days ago, a very important project. And she received a table, and it was not the color table that she ordered. Her previous delivery company wouldn't have sent her a photo until the day before delivery, and they could have had it for weeks, where we resend that photo immediately, so you have time to get that rectified. But inspecting items in a timely manner, that could be a challenge, right? Finding damage in the middle of inspecting items, getting all of our inspections done, and then communicating with the designer about that damage so they can handle it right away. Mm-hmm. Those are challenges. We have found solutions for those challenges, and I make sure that I'm stocked with warehouse help and whatnot, but also always having the proper people to be able to inspect furniture, right? I can't have somebody who's just back there lackadaisical and not taking it serious. Sure. So that, and then, honestly, on install days, we're professional movers. So my guys are moving furniture all day, every day. So, every so often there's particular pieces, like a 30-foot rug that feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds, trying to maneuver that into a house or something. But we don't run into many challenges on installs. It's more the behind the scenes stuff that nobody really knows about that we need to.
All right, and look, I think it's like any other business. If you have your systems in place, you avoid those challenges.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk a little bit. I mean, do you service just Long Island, or pretty much Long Island, New York City?
So we, from Montauk to New York City. Really any state. We're doing. We just did a huge install in New Jersey, so where we received everything here. And then just sent 2 trucks to New Jersey with a crew of guys and got it done. And we're about to do a big one up in Albany, upstate New York. Okay. A couple of 100 pieces. Will be another two trucks worth of stuff. And then even as far as Miami, there are some designers that I work with that don't want anybody else touching their stuff. So we will send a truck to Miami. Or they maybe have somebody receiving stuff and whatnot, but love particular guys that I have working for me. So I'll fly them down to Florida or something and help do the install.
And how do you, I guess that sort of answers the question I was about to ask, was about maintaining quality as you expand your team and service areas. And I guess, like you said, it's just a matter of sending your guys down there when you need to. Or
it is. It's like scaling anything, right? We've, as many of you might know, that somebody has just recently is closing up shop, and we're taking on a lot of their clients. So it's sort of almost become like instantaneous volume, and we are adjusting some processes, some pricing, some different things to meet the needs of those clients.
Cool. So let's talk about what's next for Zippboxx, whether it's expansion. I know you're big on tech with your app, tech upgrades, any new services, and I know you have a completely new business / service coming out that we'll get to in a second. But let's talk specifically about Zippboxx first.
Yeah, so we're pushing and growing our designer logistics services. We are now offering some picture hanging, mirror hanging. So we become an all-in-one solution. We didn't do that before. We would deliver everything, but then they would have to get somebody else to hang it. I've brought on to my team a couple of gentlemen who are amazing at that type of work. So they are. We're doing that now, and then hospitality logistics, hotel logistics. We're in the middle right now of a 295-room hotel that we're installing all the furniture for. I'll show you my warehouse when we're done. I have all the furniture here in storage. And it's been a great project, very eye-opening. First time I ever did anything like this, and we knocked it out of the park, man. It's like it's going way better than I could have.
So it's not even delivery. You're literally installing everything.
We're doing everything. So we have it. We received 40 shipping containers of furniture from China, unloaded all of that, inspected most of it. We had a deal with that. We only needed to inspect a certain amount of pieces. And then we bring it to the hotel. We hang the headboard, hang the artwork, hang sconces, hang mirrors, assemble the beds, and then place furniture.
Wow. That's a whole different business in itself almost.
It is. It's 16 floors, only one elevator to use. No parking out in front of the hotel. It's logistically challenging, but
several weeks.
Yeah, it's due to them. We would have knocked it done. We would have gotten the entire hotel done in 2 months. We could have gotten it all done in 2 months, but based on their schedule, they had a lot of delays. They're closing off floors every couple of weeks. So right now we're about to start the 7th floor. It's 31 rooms, and we'll have 1 week to complete that.
Wow,
so we'll get that done.
Cool. Now, as we close up, let's talk. You were telling me a little bit about a different AI business, which you're going to start using for your business for Zippboxx, which is a pretty cool service too, and how that might expand into other genres. And you were just telling me about it earlier, so I haven't really had time to sit and think about how stuff like that could apply to the interior design industry, but I'm sure there are ways and utilities that you can use that too. So let's talk about
I got some crazy ideas.
All
right. Just the process I told you about earlier, right? We receive a piece of furniture, we open it up, we inspect it, the side mark, the information on the side mark of the box about that piece, about the project, etc. We put that into a Google Sheet, which is shared with the designer. I'm in the process right now of building a workflow that right from the photo app that we use that will automatically populate to the Google Sheet, so we no longer have to manually enter that information. But then even better, if we tag it with damage, I could then at the end of the day have a voice agent. So that's another company that I've started is building AI voice agents. I can have a voice agent call that designer, have a conversation with them about each piece that has been found damaged. And then they can direct the voice agent to let us know how it is that they would like to handle that. And then that voice agent could automatically call or text my repair person to come in and to make sure that those pieces get repaired. And then there's always a human that's also monitoring this. There's there's transcripts of every phone call that gets sent to anybody on my team that needs to have it immediately. But the whole process could be automated. To overcome the challenges that I mentioned earlier, to make sure that we call people in a timely manner, that they're updated in a timely manner, that a piece has been received, and I could set up workflows that will 100% automate that.
Let's talk about that for a little, because I'm interested in this, and I know it might bore some people, but I guess too bad.
It's the way the world's going.
It's the way the world's going. And look, last season, as I mentioned, we had Jenna Gadusek on, and she talks about her whole business about creating efficiency and workflows for interior designers, which is sort of what you're building here. So, I mean, I think you said the initial goal was just to build this for your business, but you might even take it a step further.
Yeah.
So what is
I already have. So I've I'm building voice agents for some niche businesses. One particular would be a restaurant, right? So voice agent answers the phone and takes a takeout order, books a reservation, and completely conversational. You could ask it about, having a party there, and it will give you all the details about catering and holding a party there. So I mean, it could be for any niche, but I'm most familiar with moving. So I'm using it to do confirmation calls for upcoming moves, to interview candidates for work. So got job ads running on Indeed. If a candidate calls a number that I post on there, it will get a voice agent that will interview it, ask it 5 questions. The person up to 5 questions to qualify them to see if they're worth coming in for an interview. And then same thing, it could trigger to call the candidate. So that's just one aspect. Then I got text messaging, bots, and different things that we're building also. Building a clone of myself, right? I'm building an AI clone of myself.
I did that on ChatGPT once for fun.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, man. Like I want to have like a 75-inch TV turned on its side so I could be like full length and like my employees could go up to it and ask any question about my business. And it would be like me being here, and I don't have to be here all of the time to answer a question.
Yeah, it's a strange world we're getting into. But you know what? It's funny because, like in the photographer community, a lot of people are worried about AI and the ability to recreate photos and whatnot on AI. And people are concerned, like, is the work that we're doing for interiors going to be obsolete? Because you can take a render and ask any AI platform to make this render photorealistic and it'll look great.
Yeah.
And I forgot who said it, but one of the quotes I saw was, AI is not going to replace creativity. It's going to replace efficiency. So, just to be able to make your workflow that much more efficient, and the same in turn for designers. I mean, if designers haven't started using AI, I want to highly recommend people to go back and listen to that episode last year, or even check out AI for interior designers that Jenna does, because the stuff that she's teaching and how to utilize AI for renders, for all this stuff. I mean, there's ways for designers that they can literally post pictures or links to 5 or 6 items that they want to source and, have a render of that room with those items done in a minute or two.
Yeah.
So it's...
No, the technology is amazing. I got into this, playing like everybody else, starting out playing like with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I took a 6-hour workshop that just opened my eye. If I took the same workshop now, I probably would sleep through it.
Yeah.
But it opened my eyes to different programs and different capabilities, and it's just mind blowing. And I got that same when I told you earlier that like Zippboxx, and I got that like bolt of lightning moment that it hit me unlike anything. I got that same thing when I discovered some of the things that AI can do, and it's become almost an obsession. But anybody ever wants to talk to me about like uses of ChatGPT and whatnot, just come up to me, man. I love to have just conversation and give you ideas on how I use it and how it will like change your everyday life. But yeah, they say that 50% of white collar entry level jobs will be replaced by AI agents. It's not just voice agents. There's so many. You can build things now that will search the internet for you, do deep research for you, then post onto social media. It's going to replace a lot of people and a lot of things.
Well, but that's good. I think, like, how many designers do we know? We're both in the same community, that the first thing they always say to me, especially because my job is providing content for interior designers. That's what I do. I provide marketing content for interior designers. And they say, I just don't have time to post. I need to post. I need to find somebody. I'm like, you don't need to find somebody. You can have AI do it for you now.
100%.
You just have to learn how to utilize it properly. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I look at it this way, like, even me building voice agents, right? I'm just tech stacking multiple things that are readily available to anybody that wants to take the time to learn how to do it.
Sure.
But it's like food shopping, right? Anybody could go food shopping. I haven't stepped foot in a food store in probably over a year because I just go onto an app. Well, my wife goes onto an app and chooses what we want, and it gets delivered to the front door.
Exactly.
So it's, I would be happy to tell people how I do it. Not many people are going to take the time to learn what it takes to do it. I have hundreds of hours that I've invested into tweaking and playing with things, and it's one of the hardest things I ever learned in my life. I'm not a techie guy. I did not come from this type of world, and but I'm fascinated with it, so I will persist through learning how to do certain things.
But I think utilizing tech in your industry is what sets you apart, like you with your app, with your photos and stuff. That's what sets you apart from some of your competitors. The fact that everything comes in, everything is cataloged, everything is photographed. Absolutely. And any of your clients can see that in 2 clicks of a button on the internet. So.
And I'm totally open to suggestions, right? So I'm always looking to improve my business and our workflows and everything. So if there's, any designers out there that you have an idea or how you would like your particular project handled, again, we have a conversation, and I'm completely customizable, and my service is completely customizable to meet somebody's needs. So
cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Again, your location in Zippboxx in Bohemia, if anyone's local to this area or wants to stop by, it's beautiful.
175 Knickerbocker Avenue. Just feel free to stop by anytime. We always got somebody here in the office, and be happy to show you around.
And hopefully some people will come up to you at the meetings now, because you're almost at every meeting. Every meeting, I don't make it to every meeting, unfortunately, but every time I'm there, you're there. So
I do my best to be at every meeting.
Yeah. But yeah, let people come up to you and talk to you about their projects and about what you do. It's pretty awesome. Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
No, thank you, man.
All right. Take care.